Hi there, Leo listeners. Cara here from leolistening.com, where I help advanced English learners fall back in love with their favourite films and series by teaching them how to break free from the subtitles. So I'm talking a lot about kind of basic listening skill issues that you need to understand anything really. So not just films or TV series, but native speakers or conference calls or whatever it is that interests you. Because the core of the issue is that listening is quite a poorly taught skill. So in the past, I didn't teach listening, I tested it. So I got my students to do, multiple choice quizzes. Now, listening to something in a class and then doing a quiz, it's not developing your listening skills. It's simply a test of where those skills are at now. It's not teaching you anything. And because most teachers don't teach listening and don't get you to actually, really improve those skills, what they do instead is they teach compensatory strategies. So these are strategies designed to make up for the fact you can't understand something. So this is things like making predictions about what you're going to hear, guessing the meaning from context, using visual clues to help you. Now, these are all things that we do in our native language. I mean, it's true. But the thing is, if you rely only on these types of strategy and you never take the time to learn how words really sound when we say them fast and about how connected speech affects how words sound, then you'll never improve. So the first of these strategies that we hear a lot about is, if you can't understand, we'll use the context to guess. So, I understand that. Guessing can help, but don't rely on it, okay? I'm going to show you some practical things that you can do to go beyond guessing. Guessing from context, that could be things like using images. If it's a film or series, obviously you have a lot of visual clues. It could just be the sort of general context, you know that you're listening to a conversation, so that gives you certain clues, or it's a weather report, so that obviously gives you certain clues. Or you can, another way is to use your kind of real world knowledge or background knowledge of the situation. Fair enough. The problem is, in all these scenarios, what happens if you guess wrong? If you guess wrong and you can't use enough of the actual audio to reinterpret your guess, well, you might misunderstand everything. So rather than, only relying on guessing or over-relying on guessing, you're going to have to listen to real native speech and just come to terms with the fact that you'll need to train your ears to catch many of the most common words. So you're going to have to do things like dictations, shadow readings, repeating out loud what you hear, and using ear training websites. Sorry. Okay, another compensatory strategy that we hear a lot about is just focus on the stressed words. So this is such common advice. A lot of teachers say, don't worry about every word, just focus on the stressed words, because that's what native speakers do. So obviously, when English is your native language, well, it's easy for you to say. And yes, native speakers don't attend carefully to every single word. But the reason that we don't need to do that is because we can decode everything automatically. And that's your case in your language too. You don't pay attention to everything because your brain automatically decodes it all without any effort. So if English isn't your native language, and if you've been just listening and using this focus on the keywords, focus on the stress word strategy, then you're not learning how to decode speech. So by that I mean you don't know how to decode all the unstressed words. So these are all the little grammatical words in English that can be very difficult to catch, such as auxiliary verbs, conjunctions, articles. And these words are important to the meaning, okay? It's not only stressed words that carry a lot of the message. A negative auxiliary can change everything in a sentence. Can rather than, can't rather than can, or don't rather than do. It makes a big difference. And, when I hear people learning English say, well, I only quote 50%, and it's because you don't know how to catch all these little unstressed grammatical words. And at the same time, you also don't know how words sound when they join together, when they blend together, when sounds disappear. That's the idea of connected speech, and it's one of the keys to understanding all the details you're missing, and I'll come on to it again in a second. Okay, another thing that you hear that's another example of the compensatory strategies is to focus on the meaning, not the detail. So this is connected to the previous point. So if all you do is focus on stress words and guess from context, yeah, you'll probably get the overall meaning. But the thing is, you'll never understand the details of the message, and you're always going to feel a little bit left out in the cold, like somebody isn't telling you something, like you're missing something, because all the little words can make a big difference. So here's a concrete example with the negative auxiliaries. So when we make a sentence negative in English, we add a negative form, but it can be hard to catch. So it can change sentences completely. So if somebody says to you, oh, you should come to the party. Well, that's positive. But if somebody says you shouldn't come, and that negative auxiliary is hard to catch because I don't pronounce the T sound at the end, well, that changes everything entirely. They're telling you not to come, but you might not be able to sort of catch the difference. And many common expressions that you already know get modified in fast speech. So a really good example is questions. So a question like, what do you want, is going to sound like, what do you want? A question like, what's that, is going to sound like, what's that? A question like, where's he going, is going to sound like, where's he going? So really quite different to what you might expect. And the good thing is, once you know how all these little details, the auxiliary verbs, the prepositions, the articles are pronounced, you can start, adding that type of pronunciation to your English to sound more natural. And you can start, using more contractions, using more linking, and blending the sounds in the ways that native speakers do. So some more examples are a sentence like, we've done it, we've done it. So you've got a contraction, we have becomes we've, and then done and it joined together, done it. Another classic, so H sounds tend to disappear on pronouns in English. So the classic example is he busy, is he busy. So the pronoun he loses the H sound and then it joins with the auxiliary verb, is he busy. Another one, Joanna. So the question, do you want to, that goes through a lot of changes. So we've got a blend at the beginning, the do you becomes j. We also kind of lose the vowel of do, and want to becomes wanna, which is a really classic example of connected speech. So a much better use of your time than just relying on all the compensatory strategies that you hear that make you feel good, is to actually spend some time, getting into how English really sounds, even if it's hard, even if it's scary. And I'm going to put some links under this video to resources that will enable you to train your ears, practice this further, learn more, and just start to move away from only relying on things like context or guessing, and actually relying on your ears, because you can rely on them. Okay, if you have any questions about this or any comments, please don't hesitate to leave them under the video. And yeah, I'll see you again very soon. Hopefully I'll hear from you. All right, thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.